If you know about neuro-linguistic programming, you know that our language, either our first language or second language or third language, actually influences our behaviors. So action thinking is all about programming attitudes for productive results. And I'm going to give you a brief introduction so you know what I'm talking about here. Designing our inner voices. Our inner voices come in words. So as you know, you might hear noises in your mind, you might hear music, you might hear other types of sounds. However, there is a prominent type of channel, a sound channel that you have in your brain, and this is the linguistical channel. Basically, you hear voices, what your family is telling you, what your friends are telling you, what you hear in the TV and movie that you watch. All those scripts basically get injected in your mind, in your brain, and they all start to form your repertoire of sentences and linguistical constructs. These linguistical constructs can influence your actions. They can all control your actions, and sometimes you are not in control of those influencers. But you can influence the script of your voices. We're going to take the assumption that for each situation there is an attitude that results in the desired outcome. As I mentioned earlier, we might not have control of situations or of events, but do we have control of our attitudes is the question, and the answer should be yes. We should be able to control our attitudes and get the best outcomes. So these attitudes, these mindsets that people refer to are sometimes just simple statements that people repeat over and over like mantras. And by repetition, these mantric construct, these linguistical constructs, these statements, these phrases get incorporated in our mind as voices. Voices can be conflictive. We're going to have negative thinking torrents sometimes. But the idea is that we are aware of the tools that we have at our disposal so we can outweigh this negativity. A method that we like to employ here is simple. We have an alphabet, which is can be translated, can be used through a keyboard, the same way you might have one in front of you. And by using the keyboard, you can just type. You can write. Writing is essential. You can also use paper, but in this example, we're going to say you can write a file, a document. It's like writing your own manual. How do you write your own manual? You can create your own manual by modules. Write down your desired outcomes. Write down the things instead of the problem that you're facing. What is what you actually expect out of a situation, out of an action. Be able to extract the speeches of successful individuals that you look up to. I think this is a very important thing that I learned, and is instead of watching people complaining, people talking about negative stuff or talking about conflicts, just try to seek for, let's say, interviews of successful people, listen to podcasts of successful people maybe, and try to see what are those common patterns of speech, what are the figures of speech they use, so maybe you can incorporate those into your own scripts. Learn and apply belief building techniques. This is very hard, but let's say if you think as a sacred book, let's say the Bible, when people read the Bible over and over and over, they take this literature and they build beliefs from it. So writing your own Bible will be a meta challenge. Of course, it will be very, very, very difficult to do, and maybe you don't want to do it, but somehow you need some sort of life manual, operational manual. This sounds like science fiction, but actually can be done easily just by writing, just by using a computer and a keyboard, the same way you program software. So you can make your own scripts. You can talk aloud those scripts. You can record them as voices. can play them over and over if you want to remind yourself and create new inner voices. So create mindware. That should be a craft by itself. You should be able to name these mindware, these programs. Other NLP practitioners have come out with their own programs, for example, for stop smoking, for avoid procrastination, or for positive thinking, persuasion. There are many techniques: mindset, commitment, codes of conduct, core values, affirmations, convictions. Action thinking is one of them. The learning method is you learn the concepts and then you apply some training, repetitions, again, exercises that are based on repetitions. Make lists, short, simple lists of the things that you want, and try to just check, mark it. Extract, again, the mindware of successful people and adopt that to you. Install it the same way you will install an application, and really visualize these ideas and all these concepts until a point that the voices that you start to listen from yourself are voices that are aligned to those goals that you set. By performing this action thinking, you're going to increase creativity, you're going to learn faster, you're going to think positive outcomes, are going to get a proactive behavior, and you're going to become more self-disciplined. Again, focusing what you want instead of the missing piece. The missing piece is going to come to you once you state what you want. Be clever when you represent graphically the goals you want. You can use a ladder representation. What is important is not the ladder and the steps, but also the energy that you and the stamina that you need to go through it. That's why routing is very important. It gives you direction, it gives you a sense of distance, how far is one point from another. We like maps, we like to use this sort of linear thinking. Sometimes actually results very effective. So routing, make a map of your territory, incorporate encouraging language, positive thinking. Again, program your actions in simple statements that actually clarify what you want. A simple programming tool is, for example, a to-do today list, or an accomplish week, an accomplishment for today, for tomorrow, for the weekend, for next day, right? What about the syntax to go and get? Write down a to-do to get sort of action object list. Go to a supermarket, get groceries, go to a gym, get a workout. Go to get, a simple pattern that is applied for by successful athletes and business people as well. DVD pattern. You desire something. When you desire something, it is still very abstract. When you visualize it, it's a little bit less foggy, but it starts to get clear. When you actually plan for it, when you write it down, then things start to become more attainable. At the end of the day, you're working in your thought waves. All right, the frequencies of your waves depend in your inner voices as well. Each inner voice is going to inject you with a bit of energy that you can then use to create optimal life outcomes. How do we train for it? One exercise will be take 3 minutes of your day. In the first minute you list your wishes, in the second minute you list your goals, in the third minute you list your actions. I'm going to finish the presentation here. I would recommend you a book, Mind Performance. You can find it on Amazon Kindle. You can read on any device. Stay tuned for more videos on action thinking. I hope this has been helpful and you have learned new patterns.